Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about multithreading and multiprocessing, and I will show you the benefits of the multithreading and multiprocessing, and I will also show you the difference in between multithreading and multiprocessing and the use case for the multithreading and multiprocessing. And in the end, we will implement this concept of multithreading and multiprocessing in a programming language. So first we will look into the difference between multi-threading and multiprocessing. Like if you create a single function and run it on a single thread, either on a single process, so it uses the single processing unit and use the single code data files and register and stack. What if you create like multi-threads on your machines? So it will again use a single processing unit for code data files but different register and stack for each thread. And in case of multiprocessing, like if you run multiprocessing on your machines, so it will actually create two CPUs on your machines, and it will generate two copies of code, data, and files for each machine, and also for register and stack for each machine. So this is the difference between multi-threading and multiprocessing, and there are some other differences like as you can see from the diagram, multi-thread is actually refers to the ability of the processor to execute multiple threads concurrently where each thread runs a process. But in case of multiprocessing refers to the ability of a system to run multi-processes concurrently, and so you can see like where each process can run also one or more threads. And multi-threading is useful in case of IO bound processes, for example reading files from database or networks, while multiprocessing is used for CPU bound processes such as to compute very complex or heavy tasks. And if you use the concept of multi-threading for the CPU bound processes, that might slow down the performance due to the computing resources, and that ensure also only one thread can execute anytime, and overhead is incurred in dealing with multiple threads. And if you run the concept of the multiprocessing for the case of IO bounds, so again, overhead for managing multiple processes is much higher than managing the multiple threads. And you also notice that the multiprocessing might lead to the higher CPU utilization due to multiple CPU cores being used by the program, which is expected. And now I will implement the concept of multithreading and multiprocess in programming. For this, you need to open your terminal and open the Visual Studio Codes. To implement multi-threading, first of all, we need to import the library of threading, and then we will create two functions. For example, fun1, and inside this function, we will create a infinite while loop. And in this while loop, we will print something like print thread 1 is running. And similarly, we will create another function def fun2, and similarly inside this function we will create another infinite while loop, and we will print again thread 2 is running. So next we will define our main function, and inside this main function we will create our threads. And to create the threads, you need to write like thread1 dot threading dot thread, and inside this thread you need to give your target function. So write target, and our first target is func1. Func1 is run on the thread 1, and similarly for the function 2 we will create another thread, and threading dot thread targets equal to func2. So this is how we create the threads in Python. Next thing, we need to run our threads. To run the threads, you need to start thread dot start, and to run the second and to run the second thread, you need to type thread2 dot start. Now both the threads are start. We need to call one more function, and it is called join function, and this join function is necessary to call while using threads, because it take care about the deletion of the thread, like when you close your program to the terminal, when you goes out from your main loop. So this join function will exit from your threads and close it properly. So yeah, and next we will run our main function. For this we need to type if name is equal to main, and here we will run our main function. So now we will see the outputs of our program. To run the program, you need to type python3 and your file name, and you see that the two threads are running concurrently. Actually, do while loops are running in the same program concurrently. So this is how the threads are working. So yeah, if I close the program, you will see the segmentation fault message here. And to close the threads more properly, you need to type also thread1 dot set daemon is equal to true. Thread2 dot set daemon equals to true. So this set daemon function actually take cares in the terminal, like when you press the control C. So this set daemon will get the signal and also close the threads properly. So now we will run our program, and if I close my program, so it will also close the threads properly. So and next you can run also these functions with the arguments, like you can pass any argument inside this function. Yeah, number of thread, and one function is with argument and second function is with argument, and here we will write our number of thread actually. Number of thread. Yeah, and to pass the arguments in the function, you need to type comma and write args, and inside the args you need to pass your argument. Like if I pass one, sorry, args. Yeah, this is how you can pass the arguments. Now if I run my program again, you see the two threads are running concurrently, and thread 1 is running, and here thread 2 is running. How you can pass the arguments to your functions in the threads. And next, you can also create threads using for loop, and to create threads using for loop, you need to type for I in range. I in range, let's suppose 2, and then it will create two threads. For this you need to type again threading dot thread your target function. Our target function is fun1, and we will actually create space here, and we will pass the argument arg I dot yeah, we will convert the integer into string, and then we will pass this argument into our function. So this will create two threads, and to start the threads again, you need to type the start, and you need also to call the join function. For this you need to create an array threads, and here you can create another for loop for thread in threads and thread dot join function. Yeah, now save your program and delete this one. Save your program and close it and run it again. Now you will see it will create two threads for you, and again the func1 is running two times on different threads, like thread 0 is running and thread 1 is running the argument I. So this is how you can create threads in a for loop. And now we will look in the idea of the multiprocessing. To implement multiprocessing, it's similar, just you need to import the library of the multiprocessing, and here you need to change your multiprocessing, and for thread you need to type process, and yeah, inside everything is the same. And this is how you can also run the multiprocessing in for loop and also without the for loop. It's similar in the implementation with the threads. So now we will run again our program, and you see our two processes are running concurrently, but now on two CPUs, and they are like more slow than the threads. So this is how we can implement the multiprocessing and multi-thread. So if you like this tutorial, please subscribe my channel and also press the bell icon to get the updates of the new uploads. And see you. Bye bye.